The most satisfying punch since Luffy wrecked St. Charlos. A beautiful full circle moment of fatherly love. And a setup for the most intense Buster Call in One Piece history. Oda has been cooking this arc, and this chapter does not disappoint. What's good? I'm Just, aka Coco Sensei. I do anime and manga related content, reviews, and occasionally talk about Jesus. If you're new, welcome. Sit down, grab a snack, cause listen, we got a lot to talk about. Today we're talking about the latest chapter of One Piece, so here's your spoiler alert if you haven't read it yet. The last chapter ended super hype, with Kuma flying in to save Bonnie and squaring up with Saint Saturn. And this chapter begins right where we left off, with Kuma's fists pulled back, ready to put them paws on him, okay? We see a couple flashbacks of Kuma's father, Jenny, baby Bonnie, and then the current Bonnie crying as Saturn shows his confusion. He asks Vegapunk what's going on. It's revealed Saturn used the self-destruct mechanism days ago, so he like, what is Kuma still moving for? Vegapunk is just as confused though. But none of that matters because just then, Kuma with gritted teeth hits Saturn with that "Oh my god!" and sends him flying. The way Oda drew Kuma's teeth gritted showed how much raw power he was putting into that punch. And that's the same amount of power you should put into hitting that subscribe button. But for real, Oda did his thing. You could feel the emotion leaping off the page. I also love the panel that right in that initial impact, Saturn is looking like, how dare this commoner touch me? But that doesn't last long because that boy is sent crashing through the city. The Marines are in complete shock. They don't know what to do. They like, hold on now. He just hit one of the 5 elders. This is a Gorosei. Like, what are we doing? This is unprecedented. And like I said, this gives me the same feels as when Luffy punched St. Charlos back in Sabaody. And if we're being real, I think that moment back then also led Kuma to feel the freedom to do this now. Let me explain. Remember in his flashbacks, like 2 chapters ago, Kuma knew Luffy was that guy, partly because of that punch. He was amazed that Luffy punched a celestial dragon because everybody knew that was a taboo. That plus so many other things led him to even saving the Straw Hats at that time. So it's really dope to see Kuma standing on business in the same way Luffy did now. But I have to say, this punch feels slightly better since we know Saturn is by far one of the worst people we've come across. St. Charlos was ridiculous and just foul, but Saturn is calculated evil, period. Anyway, Sanji notices that they can move again since they're not under Saturn's ability anymore. Him and Frankie rush over to Bonnie. Vegapunk is sitting there completely confused, and Kuma holds his hands out to hug his baby girl. Vegapunk says he didn't do the traditional self-destruct mechanism because he knew the government is foul and they take full advantage of that. Instead, the self-destruct mechanism he placed in Kuma was a full-body shutdown so that he'd be incapable of receiving orders, saying that between that and his loss of individuality, Kuma should really just be a vegetable right now. Vegapunk finally says it must be due to Kuma being a buccaneer. Kizaru is holding his head saying it's over, isn't it? Which is a strange thing to say for him, but he's been really emotionally gray this arc. This man has been going through it. But I'm not totally convinced he's gonna betray the government like other people are. His unclear justice is just that, and he could really go either way. And then we get a panel of the Marines looking for Luffy, saying he's disappeared, which is super hype because we know last chapter he was eating and getting his strength back. So it's a perfect setup for him to pop up and hit Saturn with that Looney Tune combo and beat the brakes off that evil Spider-Man. But honestly, none of that matters. Because Bonnie is hugging her dad finally, saying thank you, and I saw your memories, and how her mom seemed amazing, and how Kuma is the kindest and coolest dad ever. And child, that part, that got to me. It made me tear up a little bit, because finally, after all they have had to go through, they finally get that moment. And I didn't think Oda would let them. I honestly thought it was just going to end in a very sad, tragic way. But I appreciate these panels so much. But of course, we're still in the middle of a battle, so Saturn is back up. He starts regenerating because of course he can. We knew Kuma wouldn't be the one to take him down, but he got his lick in, and that's good enough for me. Saturn is upset and questions Vegapunk again about the self-destruct mechanism, and Vegapunk is still flustered, like, look, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, it has to be the power of love. Saturn sends a pointy spider leg at Kuma, but Sanji jumps in and kicks it away, saying, I'm not gonna let you upset Bonnie anymore. Then Frankie hits Saturn with a radical beam, to which Kizaru hits Frankie with a powerful kick. But Saturn seems annoyed by this. It seemed like Saturn was about to attack Frankie when Kizaru did. So it kind of felt like Kizaru was helping Frankie a little bit, like pushing him out the way before Saturn could get to him. So I don't, it's again, the most confusing character in One Piece is Kizaru because you really don't know where his head is at. Anyway, shenanigans happen, and the Buster Call of Egghead Island is authorized. Child. So I know everyone has said it already, but this will be Robin's third Buster Call, and sis really doesn't need this much PTSD in her life. Like, leave her alone. Can she breathe? No, but in all seriousness, this is another great chapter. Oda has been hitting us with heat this entire arc, and with us being in the final saga of One Piece, I expect it to just keep getting better. Next chapter, I'm excited to see if Luffy comes back at full power. I'm curious to see what Kizaru is really up to, and how the Straw Hats will ultimately escape, because this situation on Egghead has long since passed them getting a total defeat. They need to leave, and maybe Kizaru somehow helps them do it. Also, I'm Team Bonnie for being the newest Straw Hat. It's painfully obvious that she fits the mold, so I can't wait to see how everything plays out. Comment below your thoughts on this chapter and what you think is coming next. If you want more videos like this, remember to like and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping that brand new hot shit. I'm Jess, aka Coco Sensei, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Love you guys.